Welcome to the community of big hearts.
Welcome back, everybody, to the community of big hearts. This week, we have Rashmi from We Got This Canada. This week, in my research leading up to this, I got super excited, again, as usual. But this time, I was just so happy and joyous to see what you guys have done, Rashmi, with your organization. So I can't wait to highlight this for our listeners and the good that you've done over such a short period of time. So Rashmi, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you for having us here.
Can you tell me a little bit about what We Got This Canada does?
Sure. So We Got This Canada is a fairly new Winnipeg-based nonprofit. We started last year as a response to COVID, and we are serving low-income families, seniors, people with disabilities and mobility issues here in Winnipeg through our meals, hot meals, and food hamper programs.
Awesome. So when did you start exactly?
It was March 2020 when I started this with a Facebook group, but we actually incorporated ourselves as a registered nonprofit only in May. So technically it's not an year yet, but we are very close to our first anniversary.
You guys didn't waste much time, hey? Because the news came out in March when this was going to be a serious issue for everybody in our community. And you guys got to work in March with your Facebook group. Amazing.
Yes, we started right after we anticipated that, there are tough times ahead. We started right then, and it was just an evening when me and my husband were sitting and we had a few experiences that, that things that we came across around us that, we were like, we have to do something. We have to get this community together. There is no way we can fight it by ourselves and we have to do something. So that's how, we were just sitting and we thought there is not a better platform than Facebook, being social media, to create this awareness and get everyone at the same place. So, that's how it all started.
So what did you guys do? The Facebook group that you started, what did that look like? And how did you start helping and getting people together?
See, the whole idea of starting this Facebook group was to create a platform where people who needed help and people who wanted to help can all come together and be in the same place. So when we started, I just added a few of my friends and family and people that we knew around in the city. I don't know if you know, but we had very recently moved from the United States to Canada, and we were ourselves very new in Winnipeg. So it just started with a handful of people that joined the group. And before I knew, I think it was just like the third day or the fourth day of me and my husband starting this Facebook group that we were already about 1,000 people. The most amazing thing was there were people that were posting that, they're struggling because they're losing their jobs, they don't have any income. There were a lot of emotional and mental struggles that people were having because of this onset of this pandemic. There was a lot of anxiety. So we kind of wanted to build this as a community support group where we could not only help people and share with whatever extra resources that we had at that moment, create awareness about not hoarding stuff. You remember at that time there was such a big problem. People were just buying in bulk and the shelves were empty. I personally had this experience when I went to this superstore and I saw this young father who was crying literally in tears. I saw him because the shelves were out of baby food, and that shook me. And that was the same night we started this Facebook group. We just thought that we want to do something before the world completely goes crazy, and because everybody was coming into that panic mode and that anxiety was building and building. So we wanted this to be a support group essentially, where we wanted to share, and we saw such amazing heartwarming stories. There were people that were in need, but then there were so many people that wanted to help. This proved as a platform where people could connect.
Rashmi, that is so amazing and beautiful what you've done for your new community in seeing a problem, just being inspired by one moment of humanity and then trying to solve that problem. And you did it through the power of community and just creating a two-sided marketplace on a platform that's already created. That's so amazing.
It is not something that only one person can do. I have always said I'm so grateful for all the love and support that I've got from the fellow Winnipeggers. This is for Winnipeggers and by Winnipeggers. So if you see me doing something or, my husband, it's actually just the love and support that we get, that we have received from the community.
How many volunteers do you guys have helping you? And I understand it's probably lots of people coming and going helping. Can you pick a number of volunteers that you've had over the last year?
We started with about 3 or 4 people, and And right now we are at about 87, 88, out of which about 25 are our core team members, a little more than 25, and the rest are volunteers. And I'm very pleased to say that, these volunteers are not the ones that just come and go. We have really seen people coming and sticking around. So most of our volunteers who joined us have not left, and we take a lot of pride, and we're very happy about that people have shown that support continuously.
And you guys are primarily providing meals for those that can't get them right now through monetary reasons or like safety reasons. How many meals have you guys provided?
So we have, in the past 11 months, I would say we have helped almost 22,000 individuals. On a weekly basis, we are helping about somewhere close to 800 individuals through our meal program on a weekly basis. So we have our Tuesday meal program where we distribute free pizzas. We have our Friday meal program where we deliver these hot meals individually packed to housings where there are seniors living and there are people with mobility issues and disabilities. We have another program that we run on Saturdays. That's again a hot meal program where people come and pick up these hot meals. We have our Hamper Program that's once a month currently because of our limited resources, where again we pack these hampers and we deliver it to families at their doorsteps.
That's amazing. Where do you get the food and items for the hampers?
If you're talking about specifically for the hampers, when we started, it was through donations from mainly individual donors. But now we have developed a lot of partnerships with a lot of local agencies. So there are a lot of agencies that are helping us, that have come out to help a new agency like us. We have agencies that I would like to name here, like Food Rescue, Second Harvest, Leftovers, the Sign Foundation, Agape Table. And these are just a few that I'm naming. We have a lot of individual businesses, like great businesses, local businesses that are coming out to help us, like Cobb's Bread. They donate us bread that we distribute every week. That's a very big component that goes in our Hamper program. And we are very grateful to such local businesses that are partnering with us. I have to say that other than the individual donors, like I was just mentioning, partnerships with local businesses have proven of great benefit. I have some great names, like for instance, for our pizza program, we have 3 locations from Little Caesars that donate to us on a weekly basis. We have Pizza, 2 locations, actually 3 locations now from Pizza. We have Domino's that's coming forward, that has been with us from the very beginning, I would say. So these are some amazing local franchisees owned by local Winnipeggers that have stepped forward and they help us every week. And it's so heartwarming to see that, this lady, I have to mention her name here, and I really want to say Carissa Pastor from Little Caesars. When I first spoke to her, she just had, I believe, 1 location, and then slowly she acquired the 2nd location and then the 3rd. I'm telling you, I did not have to go and ask her to give us more pizzas from the other 2 locations that she bought. And she's the one who offered that, Rashmi, I have recently bought this 3rd location. I want to add some more pizzas to your program. So, that really warms my heart. I don't have to ask. People themselves want to do this for the community. So I think what We Got This Canada has actually done is actually brought all these people together.
We'll get a shout out to our network for Carissa from Little Caesars donating the community. That's awesome. We continue to believe that business is the best platform for social change and to help empower people like yourself who want to make a difference. So it's really important to get a spotlight on those people like yourself and business owners that are choosing to use the support from the community that their business gets to do good in the community, to continue to make it better. That's really heartwarming to hear that. What gave you the courage to do this? So like I said, lots of people I talk to want to help. They just don't know where to start, or they just didn't find the energy and time to do so. We heard your inspiration, but what gave you the courage just to start and try?
My husband. I have to say that. My husband. And he would be very shocked to hear that I'm saying this, because he thinks that, like a typical husband-wife relationship, you don't say thank you to me or whatever. But I have to say, my courage is my husband and my son. They are my strength, and they are the reason I'm able to do whatever I'm able to do right now. I had a full-time job when I started this. Of course, I had to quit because I loved what I was doing and I did not have the time to balance both. But, if it is not for my husband and my son, I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing at all. They support me. My family has been such a pillar of strength every single day, because it's like a startup, right? I mean, we're just starting starting up, there is so much more to do in a day that I can even plan. There are times when I go back to bed and I'm like, oh my God, there's still so much that I haven't done. That's where the family strength and the family support comes into the picture. It is my family. And of course, yes, now my team members, I've been very lucky.
I love that you didn't even have to think about that. I barely finished my sentence and you knew exactly where that courage came from, who you're giving credit to. That's amazing. What have you learned through this process? Like you said, it's been a little over a year doing this now. I'm curious on your learnings from giving this a go and trying.
I have learned that it is very important to care and share, especially in times when we see a crisis happening around us. We have a choice. We can either look for an opportunity to help or an opportunity to just ignore and just go through our day the way we are going. But I feel if we try and make a difference to at least one person's life that is in our network or in our circle that's struggling, I think we can all make this world a better place together.
Speaking of that, how we can all make this a better world together, how can the Winnipeg community help you do more and get more out of this program?
I'm actually looking for a lot of more partnerships. The demand has been on a surge right from the day one until now. I get more and more people approaching us and our organization because they need help. That's what breaks my heart and my team members' heart, because we are at a capacity. We are a new organization. We have barely started receiving very little funding. Like, we don't have any funding, if I have to say that. It's very minimal. So we are looking for local partnerships, adding more partners to our meal programs and our hamper programs so we can help more people that are seeking help. We are, of course, in need of a lot of funds because we are a new nonprofit. We're just starting up. There is a lot more that we need to do, but we are struggling. So, of course, if people want to volunteer in any capacity, we always have that opportunity. We try to match their skill set with the volunteering opportunity so that when they volunteer, it's something relevant to them, to their skills and on their resume. We try to be very conscious about that. But yes, if anybody wants to help us, if you are a local business, please step forward and get in touch with us, and we will try and figure out how we can partner and find ways to give back to the community. If you are a local agency, a charity already, if you are helping Winnipeggers with food or anything else for that matter, consider us. We can partner, collaborate, and do something better or bigger together. If you're an individual donor, we definitely need funds like any other nonprofit. So if you want to consider donating, please visit our website, or you can also e-transfer us at donations@wegotThisCanada.org.
WegotThisCanada.org. You guys heard it. They can use funds, services, food, or volunteers. I meant to ask this. I was listening to a video that you had put out, and you were talking about how some of all of the grocery chains end up throwing out about 1/3 of their food through spoilage and other reasons. Now, we've talked about this a fair bit on the podcast when we talk to food banks, and there are partnerships that happen out there. Have you started to reach out to some of those independent grocers?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I want to bring this out. This is a very great point that you brought out. And I really want to get everybody's focus, if I can, at this minute on this amazing organization called Second Harvest. And they have this amazing app called Food Rescue. So if you are a business, a local business that is throwing away the surplus that you have at the end of the day, please check this out. This is a beautiful app. This is an amazing app. You can go register yourself. And nonprofits like us, when you register, we get a chance to go and pick up that surplus and take it off your hands and distribute it to people who can really make use of it. I'm amazed by what this organization is doing through this app called Food Rescue. And this is an app that I am on, and I have greatly benefited out of this app. They have all these businesses that throw the extra stuff and it all goes to the landfills. But we get this opportunity because we see that there is this surplus with this business and we go and pick it up. So there are these businesses who are taking care of this issue, this problem. But I think the biggest thing is to create more awareness. So foodrescue.ca is that app, and Second Harvest is that company just trying and working relentlessly to solve this problem.
Amazing. If you're ever in need of transport, let me know. If you got a lot of bulk goods to transfer and you're not sure how you're going to get it.
That is a very big need right now, Stu, for us. We really need a truck. We are desperately in need of truck, but like I said, we are short of funds. That is something that is our immediate need. I really want to make a post and this word out there that, if somebody can help us, we are in need of a truck, because we do get food in bulk, which is being offered to us, but it is just, a few volunteers whoever is available at that minute that we can go and pick that up. But again, our vehicles have a capacity. So thanks for offering that. I will definitely keep that in mind. And probably after this podcast, I would like to connect with you and see how we can get your help.
Yeah, I would love that. You missed us by about 3 months. We were talking to Scope, a great organization also out of Winnipeg, and they were in need of a truck. So we donated one of our aging trucks in our fleet.
I hope we find somebody as generous as you guys.
Let's stay in touch. I'm sure we'll figure something out. And if you need something like once a month transported, no cost, we'd love to help.
Oh, really? Oh, thank you so much. That means a lot to us at this point. Yeah. For sure. Thank you.
Rashmi, the last question I love to ask to end the podcast is, what's the kindest thing anyone has ever done for you?
I don't have a single answer to that, because I told you, I'm very grateful for everybody around me, and I see kindness happening all around me, different times and a lot of times. So there is one act of kindness that I would definitely want to share here, which is a recent one. Again, very relevant to our organization. There was this lady that I met through Facebook when we started this group, and she wanted to help us and help the community. And this is right in the beginning when we started, and we would just chat very occasionally, and she would just keep checking in on me, how I was doing and how the organization was shaping up. And I remember talking to her once that we get offered all this fresh produce and this frozen food that I would love to pick up, but I don't have any place to store it. And guess what? She just asked me, Rashmi, how much do you think a fridge and freezer would cost you? And I had no idea why she was asking, and I just gave her a number. And the next day, I see this e-transfer, and she transferred me funds to buy a fridge and a freezer. We did a shout out on our Facebook group for her. She doesn't want me to take her name. I've been asked. I really want to take her name and tell people who she is. This was so amazing because I never knew her. I had never met her. It was just a few brief conversations, and she did that for us. And it was so important at that time, because it made a huge difference. We added fresh produce and frozen like meat and other stuff in our hampers, all thanks to her generosity. So that's a very recent one that I was very pleasantly surprised and very grateful for. And of course, there are a lot of other small acts of kindness that keep happening around us.
I don't think anyone's surprised that's listening that kindness is all around you, because you are sharing it with everybody, Rashmi. You're one of the more energizing, passionate people I've met on this podcast. So thank you so much for the conversation today.
Oh, thank you so much, Stu. It was totally my pleasure. Thank you for having me here.
Thank you so much for joining us on this Community Spotlight. If you're a volunteer or leader who knows of someone or is someone contributing in your community, we want to hear from you. Go to communityofbighearts.com and click the Nominate tab and let us know who they or you are. We look forward to speaking with you. Thank you again for tuning into the Community of Big Hearts.